Are you struggling to learn the macro mechanics for Deadlock? Well, look no further, as here's a brief guide to map control from a moderately high level player, if you care about that or not. But anyways, I hope you sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Starting off, the most efficient and effective way to take an objective is to apply pressure elsewhere first, causing the enemy to divert attention away from your intended objective. This is partially why an urn is important. It draws the enemy away from walkers and towards the drop-off instead. For whatever reason in this game, a lot of people prioritize the urn over walkers and guardians, so using the urn to try to bait attention away from the major objectives is always a nice thing to do. Another key thing is learning the timer for the bridge buffs, that timer being 10 minutes. It gives you a powerful buff depending on what the spawn is for movement, gun, and spell casting. By securing the buff and denying it for the enemy, it's just overall beneficial for your team. Again, it starts spawning at 10 minutes and has a 5-minute timer reset. So if you get it at 10 minutes, another buff will spawn at 15, 20, 25, and so on. If you cannot get the buff yourself, try to communicate to a teammate to grab it instead, because although you're not having it, at least a teammate and not the enemy has it. Another thing that a lot of people glance over or don't really pay attention to or even know is that the guardians or the tier 1 towers don't have protection or self-heal like walkers do. You don't necessarily need a wave with you to shred them. If you lose every lane and you can't break a third guardian, stop expecting to get a wave to the guardian. Just go ahead and send one of your teammates, preferably the strongest one, to try to shred down the guardian so you have at least some wave pressure. If a solo lane is in a stalemate with either no kills to the enemy laners or yourself, and your minions or troopers aren't really pushing that much into the tower, in theory, the first team to gank that lane will end up winning it. Although it's not a 100% chance of winning the lane, it pretty much makes that margin of error slim to none with you losing the lane. So the best thing to do is, if you're in a dual lane, either you win that lane early on or you shove the minions to the tower and you don't really have anything else to do. The first thing you should do is look at the minimap and look at the positions of your solo laners. See if they're pushed up, they're getting pushed back, or if there's no movement really at all. And if it looks like you have an angle to try to help out your teammate, possibly get a kill and even the guardian, you should probably take that chance. As the faster you take that guardian, the faster you both get a flex shot and the both you start farming to ramp up your items and just get stronger overall. Going ahead and ganking that friendly solo laner could literally win you the game by snowballing off of that flex slot and just allowing your friendly solo laner to move around the map a little bit more. At a higher level, well, not even necessarily a higher level, you should be capable of viewing the urn as not just a slow resource and buff resource, but also a fight baiting device. You should send the urn runner and probably 3 other teammates to the urn drop off to see if you can try to bait a fight, or if the enemy players are trying to conjugate towards that urn. You could use this chance as a means to fight the enemy and ultimately get ahead with both kills and getting the urn deposit. Although it's not a flawless strategy, it can be a super helpful one. And if you made it this far into the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know down in the comments below if this is helping you. Another thing people have to understand is that you have to buy counter items based off the enemy comp. A lot of players get stuck on following a build path to the T and won't even think twice of changing it based on the enemy's team comp. But sadly, to have a higher chance of winning your games, you have to understand how to counter enemies on the other team. And if you don't know how to, I made a video on how to counter every single hero in this game, so make sure to check that out. If someone on your team is taking that quote-unquote leadership role and they say go mid and you have no urgent jobs to do, drop whatever you're doing and just go mid. Don't go mid after you finish this jungle camp that's 1 HP. Don't go mid after you go to the shop. If you have to think twice of whether to go mid or not, just go mid. There's no reason not to. Decisiveness and reactiveness are the biggest factors in accomplishing things faster than the enemy can respond. So if you hear someone say go mid and do the boss, then well, do it. And I'm talking to you, Haze players. Stop AFK farming and help the team. And statistically, the team with better objective focus always wins. Well, most of the time. And then, well, the team with better deathmatch but zero objective focus, they always end up stalling out and then then losing after an eventual team wipe. Stop chasing down those kills, diverting your attention from a lane and going to a jungle camp, and just push the walker or shrine. Hopefully a lot of people can agree with me with what I'm about to say. I'd much rather have a teammate pushing down lane trying to get a walker and dying to the enemy than someone, instead of pushing the walkers or shrines or guardians, they're doing a jungle camp and then end up dying. I don't care if my teammates are dying, but at least they're trying to help the team rather than them just farming and we're losing a team fight because we're down one player. I'm gonna quickly add one more point that has been probably the single best preventer of near certain losses. When the enemy is taking mid boss and you cannot contest it, meaning you don't really have an angle to jump in and steal it, or you don't have enough players to straight up team fight, do not waste your time even thinking or trying to steal it. Chances are that the enemies are going to push S6, causing you to lose the game entirely after they take the boss. Right now, the buff doesn't mean all that much if played against correctly. It's pretty simple, but a lot of people don't understand. When enemies have the Rejuvenator buff, just don't chase after kills. Don't get baited into fights outside your base. You want to prioritize wave clearing and just farming up so you can try to catch back up. The most damage they can probably end up doing is just taking their urn and farming some of your jungle camps. But you can usually soak up enough souls to make up for it because the lanes get pushed to you by stronger minions. So the enemies lose a ton of souls on side lanes that are not pushing. Just play safe from your base. In my eyes, there's nothing wrong of this sitting in base and farming the lanes if the enemy has a reju buff, because you have to think, if you take a team fight and you ultimately end up winning the team fight but you do lose a couple players, the enemies will come back faster with more numbers and you will just ultimately lose the game. So it's better to be safe than ambitious. And hopefully this video has taught you something useful. And of course, if you're new here or find yourself coming back on the regular and you aren't already subscribed, why not? It's completely free and you're coming back anyways. If this video was helpful to you at all, or you found it entertaining, make sure to hit that like button and comment down below what other videos you would like to see me do. This has been Duck Films and I hope you have a great day.